Compliments of the season, guys. How you all doing? Hope you guys are enjoying your holidays. So guys, a quick one. I'm going to be showing you how I made this beautiful milkmaid top. Yeah, I have a video on how to make a milkmaid dress on my channel, but this is going to be different from that one, right? So guys, for the fabric I use in making this, I use the packet shirt. I like using the one on the top nail was, well, you can use square, but the one on the top nail, they used a packet shirt, that's the cotton fabric for it, and that is the exact fabric I use for this tutorial, which I think is the best fabric for it. So to my return subscribers, I love you all. If you're just seeing me for the first time, welcome to my channel. So if this is what you're interested in, I would like to say keep on watching, guys, and let's get started. Let's get right into the video. So guys, we're going to be drafting on our pattern paper first. So I have my pattern paper here, and I'm going to draw my starting line. It's a normal thing on this channel, right? So guys, please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I beg in the name of God, it's a season of love. What is Christmas without spreading love? Quickly click on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notification bell, right? So from the starting line, which is my shoulder line, I took my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and extra 2 inches for the hemming, like for the turning, actually, because I'm going to be turning this with lining, right? So I have my starting line, which is my shoulder line, my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and the allowance. All right, so I'm going to divide my shoulder by 2, come down by 1 inch, then from the 1 inch take my armhole line, which is 9, and I'm going to reconnect. So that line, this line is going to be my chest line, and I'm also going to draw a straight line to meet the armhole line, right? So I'll be taking my neck width 3, neck depth 3, even though we are not making use of this neckline, we are using just for a guide. Then I'll connect my shoulder slope to the neck width. Then I'm going to divide what I have on the armhole by 2, come out by 1/4 of an inch, and make my armhole curve. It's as simple as that. Okay, so I'm going to label this new line my chest line. So what I'm going to do now is to insert my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 10, divided by 2 is 5. Then I'm going to impute that on my bust point, under bust, waistline, and the hem length, and I'm going to connect it this way. The next thing I'm going to do now is to come out by half inch on the hem length and reconnect it to the bust point, right? I'll reconnect it to the bust point like 1 inch. I'll come down, like, you just come down by 1 inch from your bust point and you connect it just this way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll be coming up by 1.5 inch up from my under bust. Now I'm trying to make a curve. I'll go and get my curve rule now, because this particular curve is not giving me what I want. Okay, so I got the curve rule, and I'm going to place it like this to meet the under bust, and I will make a curve. Okay, so just make a curve the way you see me doing. Then the next thing I'm going to do is, I came out by nipples. I divided my nipple to nipple by 2, so I'm also going to do the same thing on that, from that bust point, outside that bust point. Then I'll add 1/2 inch, and I'll use my curve rule as well. Place your curve rule well and connect it just the way you see me doing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to extend the line to meet the armhole line, the armhole curve line, right? So I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches. You can come down by 5 inch, you can come down by 6 inch, or rather you can come up by 2 inch, you can come up by 3 inch, you can come up by, depending on how exposed you want your chest area to be. But for me, I came up by 2 inches. Okay, so that 2 inches, now I'm going to use my curve rule. I'm going to be making a curve, but before making that curve, I will use this exact French curve now to make that curve. But before then, I'll come down by 1/2 of an inch. Sorry guys, I'll come down by 1/2 of an inch, then place my curve rule that way. Can you see what I'm doing? Make sure you're using a curve effect. Then I'm going to use, like, how do I put it, like, place your curve rule on that 1/2 inch you came down by, and your curve rule is going to be on that line you marked. Then you make a curve. So I'm just trying to place it very well so I don't make mistake. So just make a curve, right? So this is the curve. I'm going to use my free hand to curve it properly. Then I will insert my body measurement. So I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4. I'm going to add extra 1.5 inches seam allowance. On the waistline, I'm going to divide my waist circumference by 4. I will replace the little dart intake I took there. Then I will add extra 2 inches for seam allowance. I'll replace the dart intake, add extra 2 inches for seam allowance, extra 1.5 inches for seam allowance, guys, sorry. Then I'll reconnect the line to get to the hem length, just the way you see me doing, and that is it for the front, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is just to create the curve this way, and I'm going to draft this out. So guys, please, this opportunity, let me use this opportunity to tell you guys, I now have a second YouTube channel. For those of you that want to be seeing my face, that want to know what's going on in my life, like my daily life routine, food, because aside sewing, I love cooking as well, right? I love cooking as well. So like the channel is all about my travel, tour, cooking, everything about my lifestyle, right? So I'm going to be dropping the link on this, on the description too of this video, so you guys can, you know, connect to my second YouTube channel. Okay, so guys, I'm going to use this paper, the front paper, to you know, place on a new pattern to draft out for the back. I've already brought like I measured 1.5 inches for my zipper already, as you can see there. So I'm just trying to trace this out, right? So just trace it out, because it's the same thing, it's literally the same thing. Okay, so just the only difference is that 1.5 inches I brought for the zipper allowance. So I just made a point for the dart intake I took, then my curve effect just this way. All right, so that's all, and I will go ahead, cut this out. Then I will measure on the upper area. I'll input my bust span divided by 2, that's my nipple to nipple, then connect the lines and make my dart lines just this way. It's as easy as that. This is where it's going to be a very simple one. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. Then after cutting this, guys, I'm going to now cut out the finish up on the front pattern, because we are not done for the front pattern. I just used it to draft out the back before finishing up on the front pattern. So yeah, so this is what I'm going to do on the front pattern now. Cut out that bust effect we gave this, that under bust effect we gave this pattern. All right, so this is what I have. I'm going to be using this to draft on my fabric. Okay, and we're going to be using slash and spread on this particular one. Okay guys, please, there is something I did. If you want to draft yours, make sure you have your pattern paper on fold, so that after cutting you're going to have 2 bust effects, so that you can use one for slash and spread. Okay, do you understand? So that's so guys, for the slash and spread I have 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, so I'll just open it up just the way you see me doing. I'll open it up this way, then I'll be placing it on this new pattern paper that I have. So the reason why I said you should make your pattern paper unfold before drafting is so that you can have one extra that you've not slashed and spread, because from that's one you will keep. That extra one you're not going to do slash and spread on. That is where you're going to measure when you cut on your fabric and you want to pleat. That is where you're going to don't worry, when we get to that part, I'll show you what I mean. But when drafting on your pattern paper, please make sure your pattern paper is on fold. Okay, it's because I'm used to this, that is why I did not make my pattern paper on fold, and because I don't have enough pattern paper exactly here. So I'm just pinning these to the new pattern paper, spacing them, but the pattern paper I have was not enough, so I went ahead to bring extra pattern paper to combine with that. So you can space yours by 3, you can space yours by 2, you can space yours by 4, depending on how big you are. Me, I am big, so I think I just spaced mine about 3.5 inches away from each other. So I'm using my pin to just pin them down. Then now I'm going to use my marker to connect the lines just this way before cutting them out. So I'll trace it just this way, just the way you see me doing, and I'll go ahead, that armhole effect, I'll give it there, and I'll go ahead and after connecting it this way, I'll go ahead and cut it out. Guys, if you've watched up to this extent and you're yet to subscribe to my channel, I beg you in the name of God, I beg you in the name of God, please hit on the subscribe button, guys, and turn on your notification bell, okay, so you could be notified whenever I post beautiful tutorials like this. Let's grow this. You guys are my family. You guys are, without you this channel will not be existing. So I beg you guys to engage by subscribing, all right? And if you find my video interesting, if you're learning one or two from it, please don't forget, like, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up and share the video to family and friends. So guys, this is what I have now. Okay, now I'm going to bring another pattern paper to cut for the sleeve, because the sleeve we have, the sleeve, the particular sleeve for this tutorial is different from normal sleeve. So just come down by 4 inches from your pattern paper and mark a line. Then on that line you marked, you divide your round sleeve measurement by 2. You add extra 2 or 3 inches seam allowance. In my case I added 3. I added 4, sorry. So I'm going to bring the back pattern paper to give it that curve effect that it has. All right, I'll give it that curve effect. Bring your back pattern paper, you give it that curve effect. All right, so guys, after that, what you're going to do now is you're going to determine how long you want your sleeve to be. For me, I want my very long, I want my very puffy. Okay, so I'm going to, my normal sleeve is 25, but I think I used 34 for the length of this sleeve. I used 34 for the end of this sleeve, I think 34, 35. Then you come up by 3 inches and use your curve ruler to connect it just this way, guys. So take your length from the line, that line you marked, then from that line you mark, you go up by 3 inches and give it a curve just the way you see me doing. And you're going to divide again your round arm measurement by 2, and this time around you just add 2 inches seam allowance, right? So the length I use for mine is 35 because this is going to be having 2 elastic strands on it. So use your curve ruler now to create that curve, like an armhole curve, right? So I'll use my ruler now, my curve rule, to make the curve to meet the length of this the length I want this sleeve to be. So this is going to meet the length I want the sleeve to be. Okay, so this line is a mistake, it's not added to it. So you go ahead and cut this out. Hope you guys understand what I did for this. It's very easy, guys, but if you don't understand, leave your question down the comment section. So that is it for the sleeve, guys. So I'm going to cut, this sleeve is going to be 2 for the left and the right hand side. All right, so guys, the next thing I did was to cut all this on my fabric, and as you can see, the hem length I gave it 1/4 of an inch. The armhole I did not give it any allowance, and everything here has a lining except the sleeve. The sleeve does not have a lining piece, so everything has a lining piece. So this is the back, and the side I gave it 1/2 of an inch. The hem I gave it 1/4 of an inch. The others I did not give any allowance. So on the curve area for the front I gave it 1/2 of an inch. On the side I gave it 1/2 of an inch. On the hem length I gave it 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just notch the darts intake place, so to know where I'm stitching my darts. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to stitch the darts both for the main fabric and the lining. For the lining I use the same fabric I use for the main fabric for the lining. Okay, so if you don't have enough fabric, you can just use your normal lining for this. So, and as you can see, the bust part, that's one I did slash and spread. I stitched the straight part on the lining piece. That's lining to main fabric, lining to main fabric. I stitched the straight part, so I'm going to make a loose stitch up and down. All right, leaving that curve area open. You're not stitching that curve area, just make a loose stitch up and down. When I'm done, I'll show you how it looks. So guys, I'm done making the stitch and I've dragged one of it. So this is it. So after making a loose stitch, you just drag it. All right, so this is the other one. Let me show you how to drag it. Though I'm going to do it off camera because I'm going to take my time to do this, but you just pick one of the ropes, and you take your time to, you know, drag it. When you're done dragging the up, you also drag the down, right? So just pick one of the rope and you drag. All right, so guys, I'm done and this is it. So this is the reason why I said when cutting on your pattern paper, drafting on your pattern paper, make sure your pattern is on fold, because this slash and spread, I have to bring it together and pin it again so that I can take the measurements to know the measurements I'm going to use for this this bust area. right? So I'm going to measure the upper area, and if it's not up to what I have on the pattern paper, I'm going to loosen it a little. So I'm going to measure it again, and this time around it wasn't up to, I loosened it again and it was up to what I want. Then I'm going to measure the down part as well. I'll measure the down part as well to know. Then from what I get from this, I'm going to measure the down part on my fabric to get the exact length. It's the exact length I have on that pattern paper. So this is why I said you should make your pattern paper unfold, because you're going to use one for slash and spread, and you're going to be using one to measure, to know, like, to get the exact length for your bust. Okay, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. So that is it. So I measured this and I made sure it was the same length. So I did same thing for the other piece as well. Okay, so if the length was not enough, you just loosen your stitch, like the pleated place, you just loosen it up till you get the exact length that you have on your pattern paper. All right, so this is it, guys. Hope you guys understand what I did, but if you don't understand, leave your question down in the comment section. So I'll do same thing for this other side as well. So I'll just go ahead and trim off the excesses that I have, like all the pieces that I have there. I'm going to trim them out. All right, so just take your time, trim out the excess you have on that piece, and that is it. So I'm going to bring one of the piece, that's the main fabric. Let me just call it the main, because the lining and the main fabric is the same thing. So I'm going to bring the main fabric and I'm going to place this, excuse me guys, I'm going to place this on it just this way. Can you see? I'll place it like this on it just this way, and place it as well to show you how it's going to look when you're done stitching it down. Right, so I'm going to flip it now. I'm going to flip it now, use my pin on it. So guys, I'm going to use my pin. I went to bring my pin, so I'll flip it over to this other side, then place it this way, front side facing each other, and I will use my pins to pin it down. Okay, so pin it down. Then after pinning it down, you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch round it. So same thing you did for this part as well, you're going to do it for the other side. You're going to use your pin to pin them down. Can you see how it's looking? When you're done stitching, this is how it's going to look. All right, when you're done stitching, this is how it's going to look. So this is it. So I'm going to bring the other side and I will pin as well all round. I'm going to pin it to meet the other side. So I'll start from the center and I will pin. So do not worry, you're going to use your lining, the rough edges, you're going to use your lining that's your lining piece, even though the lining I'm using is same thing as the fabric. Okay, so like I said before, if you don't have enough fabric, you can buy your normal lining. Don't say because I'm using the main fabric for the lining, that is why you're going to use same your main fabric. No, because I had a little excess of fabric, so that is why I used my main piece for my lining as well. So when I was done stitching, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it down. All right, then I'll show you how it looks. So guys, after I was done stitching it down, this is how it looks. As you can see, it's already coming out fine. So I'll flip it over to the wrong side, then I will bring the lining piece, I'll flip it over to the wrong side, I'll bring the lining piece and merge it wrong side facing each other from the center. Okay, wrong side facing each other from the center. All right, that's the wrong side will be facing you. So pin it all around and you're going to stitch. You're going to pin it all around, guys, and you're going to stitch. Hope you guys understand what I did. I'm going to do it for the other side. So when I was done, this is how it looks. Can you see the rough edges now is now inside? So this is how it looks when I was done. Please, if you have light, just iron while sewing. I don't in my case I do not have light, so when I'm done I'm going to iron it. So flip it, put everything inside now and stitch the hem length. So put everything inside. Let me just show you again. Put, like, repair your clothes and everything. That is why I said you should iron. But first of all, before closing it, I'm going to, you know, that's after you close the hem length, you're going to put everything inside, then you close the hem length. Okay guys, I've stitched the hem length, so you guys don't get confused, right? I've stitched the hem length. Now you're going to bring 2 strands. Now you're going to bring 2 strands. I just want to align this properly. You bring 2 strands now, and you're going to flip this over to the wrong side. All right, flip this over to the wrong side, then you place your strand. I have here 1.5 inches wide, unfold 1.5 inches, right? Sorry, when you open it, it is 1.5 inches. So place it this way, and you're going to stitch. So after stitching it, this is how it looks. Just, you stitched on the wrong side, then you're going to flip it over to the right side now. Can you see? Then you start folding it inside. You take your time because this is the front part, so you don't have a rough work. You keep folding like a bias, fold till you finish up, like you finish folding everything. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing for the other side as well. So guys, when I was done folding, this is how it looks. All right, this is how it's looking. As you can see, our milkmaid top is already coming out, so you just tie it this way. So the length of the rope totally depends on you. Okay, for me I used 15 for each rope. So this is the back. I've gone ahead to join them lining to fabric, and I have my zipper. I'm going to attach my zipper to it, then I'll bring it back and show you what to do. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now, the zip is ready, the back is ready. I've attached my zip. I'm going to you know, show you guys how it's going to look. This is how it's going to look when I will be done. So now I'm going to set this aside, then we'll work on the sleeve now. So open up your sleeve. So I have my sleeve with 2 here, one for the left, one for the right. Okay, or one for the right, one for the left, whichever way you want to put it. So I'm going to hem the down part. Yes, I'm going to hem the, remember I said the length is 35. Hem the down part, and I'll be using elastic, 2 elastics to stitch on this sleeves. So from the after hemming, I'm going to take my tape and measure 7 inches upwards, and I will give it a notch. 7 inches upwards, I'll give it a notch. Then I will measure the other side as well. I'll notch it, measure the other side as well, 7 inches up. So anything I'm doing here, I'm going to do it on the other sleeve. Give it a notch. Then I'll use my elastic, stitch on it. While stitching, I'll be drawing the elastic so that it's going to be gathering. So the next thing I'm going to do, can you see? I'll be stitching on it, and I'll be dragging it. Then from that notch I took again, I'm going to still come up by, I'll be coming up the length. From the length of this sleeve, I will come down by 22 inches, and I will notch, come down by 22 inches as well, and I will notch as well. Okay, and I'll be using my elastic stitch to stitch on it as well. Okay, so I'll do same thing for the other sleeve. All right, so for the upper area, because it has that curve effect, what I have here is 1.5 inches open. So I'm going to, you know, make a casing for my elastic. So guys, this is it. I've made a casing for my elastic. As you can see, can you see how it looks? I've stitched on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my sleeve now. I'll bring my sleeve, and I will be, you know, I'm going to use my pin to pin it on the front, that is the armhole front. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm doing. The armhole front, I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. And when I was done, I will bring the back as well. I'll bring the back, and I will pin it as well, armhole to armhole, right? So hope you guys understand. I'll pin it armhole to armhole, guys. So this is very simple. If you have your question, just leave it down the comment section. All right, so I'll pin it armhole to armhole, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch. And I'm also going to do same thing for the other side. Can you see? I'm also going to do same thing for the other side as well. When I'm done, I'm going to show you how it looks. So guys, when I was done, this is how it's looking. My dress is ready. So this is how it was looking, and everything is pretty ready, everything is good. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. I'm going to press this when I have lights. I'm going to give it a good press. This tutorial is mine, the top is for me. I just made it for the sake of the tutorial because someone requested for this particular milkmaid top, and I hope you guys understand every bit of it. All right, but feel free to leave your question down in the comment section if you don't understand any particular thing I just showed up here. So guys, if you find this tutorial interesting, or if you've learned one or two out of this tutorial, please do not hesitate to give this video a thumbs up, share this video to family and friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you could be notified whenever we post beautiful tutorials. All right, so guys, please do not forget I have a second YouTube channel. I'm going to be leaving the link. I'll link the link down in the description box. Follow, subscribe to my second YouTube channel. Right, so guys, we are done for this particular tutorial. That second YouTube channel is just everything about my lifestyle. If you want to know more about my lifestyle, that's all about the channel. All right, so see you on my next video. Bye.